Well, again, we've got to remember that the educational experience ranges from kindergarten right the way through to colleges of higher education and even universities. What we have found in our work, though, is that there are specific needs for certain sectors. So, for example, if you take the special needs area and children with autism, we focus on applying behaviour management principles in classrooms. To give you one example in the field, the easiest thing to do to manage a behaviour is to allow the person to escape from a situation when they're distressed. It's really important in learning situations that the person has a sense of control over learning, that they're not feeling that they're hemmed in. I was recently asked to advise in a school, which I won't name, where they had one-to-one classroom assistance, but it created huge problems to say when this young man who's quite distressed wants to leave, you should facilitate him leaving. The questions I got back was, well, where would we let him leave to? He would run out in the street. This is a building with a secure front door. So my answer to that was, well, where would you go if there was a fire drill? Oh, we would go out to a particular area. We're trying to deal with a mindset change about that balance between educating and learning and actually making a crisis situation worse. So often we find in those situations that we can facilitate change by actually getting people to think differently. So planned escape is one of the most common phrases used to trainers, who practitioners in the field and teachers who apply the low arousal approach in schools. Allow that person time. Correspondingly, what is the optimum condition for learning to occur? Again, we need to think about those individuals from that personalisation agenda. Moving on to mainstream schools, and yes, we do work in mainstream schools, quite often our focus again tends to focus on verbal de-escalation. A lot of the challenges that teachers and staff face isn't necessarily students wielding knives and the things that you read about in the newspapers. It's actually that day-to-day interaction which can lead to a kind of them and us compliance culture. And often again, it's very difficult for people to take that balance between creating a healthy learning environment and allowing that person some individual attention. So what we tend to focus on again there is how we encourage classroom, and I will use the word control, but not in a highly controlling manner. Again, if you have individuals who really struggle to maintain their focus of attention for an entire day, there are lots of international studies that show that we need to break the academic day up in much more detail. If I learn in 15 minutes efficiently and someone else learns in 30, having an hours-based classroom session for both those people is going to be a bit of a problem. So yeah, we work from that settings. We've even worked training teachers and university lecturers in how to deal with confrontation in situations in tertiary education. And you would think that there isn't a need for that, but actually I've worked in tertiary education, and when you're confronted with someone who's quite angry because their grade isn't right from their perception, or people becoming quite hostile because they're not listened to, then actually it's an important area that we need to acquire skills and confidence to deal with those situations.